to you by the Gator chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists. I'm Rochelle Lee.
And I'm Peter Gay Sherwood. It's almost been a month since millions of Americans poured out to the polls, all in the name of democracy. Zion Buzz Rochelle Aline has more on the story.
The 2012 presidential election created lots of political discussion, opinions, and controversy. But most importantly, it brought out voters. But after the hype of the election has died down, many people are wondering what's next. We asked students around campus what they want out of the next 4 years and what they are expecting of the president.
I'm hoping that he takes these results as a mandate to go ahead and be the president that people were hoping for in 2008 when he was first elected.
So I really don't expect too much from President Barack Obama other than what he's done since 2010.
I really like what he started with the Affordable Care Act, and I'd like to see more progress done with that.
To help out the country, basically just redo what needs to be done. The taxes, the economy sucks awfully. So just kind of actually do something.
Despite differences in opinion, it's clear that students want more from this election than the checks and boxes. They're looking for the change, promise, and hope, and they're looking to Washington for the answers. For Zion Buzz, I'm Rochelle Lee. Diabetes Awareness Month just wrapped up in November. Zion Buzz reporter Peter Gay Sherwood talked to a student who's battling the books along with diabetes. Here's this month's health issue.
Battling diabetes is an everyday task for University of Florida finance major Geneva Bastine. After being diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 16, Geneva continues to be an advocate for diabetes awareness by educating others about the disease she thinks can be controlled.
It's harder for me. I definitely have to stay on top of it. It is a struggle every day. Diabetes it's not really your grandmother's disease.
Geneva uses a tube to fuse insulin into her own skin to make sure her body absorbs the medicine. This everyday task is for this young student's daily survival. All while caring for herself, Geneva still encourages others to be involved with diabetes awareness, but she's not alone.
In honor of World Diabetes Day, the University Center for Diabetes Excellence will be hosting a hula hoop contest along with a lighting ceremony where Century Towers will be lit blue for the entire weekend.
This is one of many ways students like Geneva and professionals spread awareness on the university's campus. But there are ways you can help in this effort, as well as by making sure you keep an eye out for symptoms of diabetes. Symptoms that are often ignored.
What the citizens of Alachua County have taught us is they're afraid of it. They don't want to know if they have it. They walk past our screenings and they put their hand, oh, I don't want to know. No, you want to know. Because if you catch it early enough and you have type 2 and you catch it early enough, then you can take charge of it.
For more information on diabetes and how you can get involved, log on to diabetes.ufl.edu. Reporting for Zion Buzz, I'm Peter Gay Sherwood. Presents, check. Mistletoe, check. Now the quest is for someone to find you under that mistletoe. Zion Buzz reporter Alexandra Morales joins us with what students are talking about, 2 hot relationship topics. It might help you score that date for the holidays.
Interracial dating today is on a rise according to the Pew Research Center. There are more interracial couples today than, say, 25 years ago. Earlier this week, I walked around campus and got some views on how people felt about interracial dating.
Well, have you seen the volleyball team? There's fine girls on there that are all different races. So, yeah, I'm about it. There's a lot of different, there's a lot of different cultures from different races.
I think it's beautiful. I mean, it depends on whoever you like. I think race shouldn't matter. So I'm good with that.
Whether you're dating in or out of your race, it's still very important to know the do's and don'ts on first date. So I decided to walk around campus and interview a couple of students on what were some of their do's and don'ts on a first date.
Well, don't rush to have sex. And don't mention your exes.
And what about some do's? What about some points, some brownie points they can score?
Be yourself. You be yourself. And have fun. Have fun on your date. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, be charming.
don't bring up your past boyfriend. That's too much on the first date. Just be really engaged and with the conversation. Don't mess with your phone, because that will really show you're not interested. And just be polite and like don't pick your teeth, don't pick your nose, don't just act like a normal person and try to like keep everything to a minimum.
Expect if you go like to dinner or something, like expect to pay and don't like expect the other person to pay like you.
Be classy and don't feel like, I guess like don't talk about yourself too much, and be like cool. Don't be like uptight or anything like that.
Here are some additional tips for your first date. Drive your own car. If you don't own a vehicle, make sure you bring enough money for a cab. Make sure you wear clothing that you're comfortable and most importantly confident in. Don't order sloppy food. And lastly, keep the conversation light. Don't go into talking about past relationship. Remember, this is a first date, not a therapy session. For Zion Buzz, I'm Alexandra Morales.
In our health spotlight, we speak with Andrew Reed, who tells us about his harrowing health journey and how he hopes to inspire the disabled community.
I was on spring break last March, and we were vacationing in Cancun, Mexico, which I thought was going to be an awesome trip, and it was up until the last day, where on the last day, literally, it had gone out, we had an amazing night, and I came home about 5 in the morning, and we were leaving that Saturday, March 12th, to head home back to America, and I woke up about 2 hours after going to sleep, and I knew something wasn't right, because, you know, I just went out, I should be tired, but I'm here waking up, so, I try to calm myself down. I feel this pain in my back, and I can't explain what it is, and I'm like, all right, calm down. I think it's like a muscle spasm, because my back feels real tight, so I start stretching it, pain's still there, I start to freak out. I'm like, the worst thing I can do right now is freak out, so I try to calm myself down. So I went to go link up with my friends, and they were already getting breakfast, and as soon as I sat down to meet them, literally it was like a bomb went off in my back, and I just felt this huge pop, and the pain came back, 100-fold, and it was just unbearable. I started sweating, I couldn't breathe, my friends were freaking out, like we need to go to the doctor in the resort, because we were staying in a resort, so as we're looking for the doctor, literally like a laser, I just feel a sensation and the muscle movement in my legs, just from my feet down all the way up to my chest, just gone. Yeah, at this point I can't breathe, like every time I try to take a breath, it's like the dagger stabbing me in the heart, and they take me to the hospital, into the emergency room. They give me morphine, but the pain is still like just abundant, and then after a while they realize, well, this isn't like a nutrients issue, this is something to do with your nerves, it's a spinal cord injury. I have a malformation in my blood vessel, it's called an AV malformation, and pretty much this is like a normal blood vessel, except instead of it going straight, but just like a normal blood vessel, it has little tree branches going off of it, and that's the malformation. You shouldn't have them. And you can have these malformations from birth and not know that you have them. The worst spots are your brain, which triggers a stroke. In my case, the spine, which triggered my paralysis. Yeah, he told me we needed to have immediate surgery down in Mexico, or you'd be paralyzed for life for sure, or you'd die. But it went successful, and the doctor couldn't tell me if I'd ever walk again. That's when I realized I was like, I'm paralyzed. I have no control of my stomach, I have no control of my legs, I have nothing, I just have my arms and head. And you're gonna have those moments where you feel like you're gonna quit, it happens all the time, but I think the thing that matters most is just like let those moments, just embrace it kind of, and say, all right, I've had my pity myself time to get back on the grind.
It's the start of a long night for fourth-year fine arts major Merlin Terlange. Merlin spends hours in the studio creating pieces she hopes will cause people to think deeply about societal issues. Her path started at a friend's house her senior year in high school.
It was like at my friend's house, and her mom had, she just like randomly came home with canvas and paint and like made kids like
paint and put like whatever they wanted on their walls. And I was a little jealous. So I was like, I wish my mom would have told me that I could paint. So after church one day, I'm like, Mom, can we go to Michael's, please? And I went and picked up some canvas and paint, and my first painting was of my parakeet.
From parakeet to pieces, she wants to make people actually feel a sense of discomfort.
But he's in this situation that kind of, as a provider, as a protector, he's in a situation that it's not really taking it seriously anymore, as far as in contemporary.
But Milan steps back in time for some of her inspiration as well.
I'm talking about kind of correcting history my way, like saying, okay, I'm going to put this person in this, and you might think that it's ridiculous because you know that in the history of man, like, that is highly unlikely that a person of color would have been able to afford to commission someone to paint a painting like this.
She called on her friends and dressed them in powdered wigs. Through her art, Merlan is pushing the buttons of issues most important to her.
It sounds pretty radical, but I feel like my art becomes my activism to a certain degree because I do a lot of work here on campus to kind of fight against some of the things that talk about the racial climate here.
Merlan is planning to head off to grad school, but she's sure to continue advocating through her art. Reporting for Zion Buzz, I'm Nicole Smith.
Thanks for tuning in on this episode of Zion Buzz. We'll be back on the web with more stories for college students by college students in February 2013. I'm Peter Gay Sherwood.
And I'm Rochelle Ali. Zion Buzz is a publication of the Gator chapter of NABJ. And from all of us here at Zion Buzz, happy holidays.